Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Wherever you're joining from, I want to greet you and to welcome you into the Story Warrior channel. This is a special channel that is dedicated for unsung heroes with untold stories, particularly those who are blazing new trails, those who are writing a new chapter, changing the narrative. Today, I am absolutely delighted. I am so honored and privileged to welcome into our studio Dr. Marie-Ange Eyoum Tagne. I don't know which part of America she's joining us from today, but I know she works for big tech and she travels a great deal. Dr. Eyoum, please tell us, where are you joining us from today?
Wow, thank you so much, Dr. Gideon, for inviting me to your wonderful show, your wonderful broadcast. I'm joining from Silicon Valley in the Bay Area. It's about 45 minutes from San Francisco.
Oh, Bay Area, Silicon Valley. I'm a little familiar with that. A little familiar with that because I went to school in Reno, Nevada. And if you
Mhm.
drive across the Sierra Nevada and you go down, you're right in the Bay Area. And I often came to Silicon Valley and I marveled, like, oh my God, this is a magnificent place. This is a place where dreamers come to. This is a place where people come to make their dreams happen. People come here to sow seeds that can change the entire world. So you're telling me, Dr. Eyoum Tagne, that you're in a place where dreamers come to sow the seeds that change the world. Is that what you're saying?
The way you put it is it sounds so great. Yes, I do live in Silicon Valley. I've been here. Me and my family, we've been living here for the past 15 years in South
Wow.
Bay, like San Jose area. Mhm.
Wow. 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 You are not an ordinary person. You are an extraordinary achiever, I must say. And I feel very delighted as a Cameroonian to earn and to acknowledge that you are an amazing Cameroonian because you've worked at places where people can only dream about. You've worked at places such as Amazon. You've worked at places such as Intel, McAfee, you name it, and you currently work at Yahoo. Is that really true? You've been a trailblazer in all of these places.
Yeah, I am a tech lover. I'm a tech enthusiast. I love technology. I love technology. I think Silicon Valley, like you say, is that place where you have the conglomeration of many technology people coming from all over the world who are passionate about technology and who really want to go deeper and see how they can make a difference through technology. So yes, I did work with a lot of the big tech. I learned a lot through my journey. I
Mm,
can share some thoughts and some learning, but it's
yes.
been an amazing journey, right? Yeah, I love this environment because you can go to a Starbucks, you
Mhm.
you see two regular person talking on a coffee table and drinking
Yes.
their Starbucks, but they're actually starting a company. That's Silicon Valley.
That's why I started by saying that's a place where dreamers go. And you must have been an absolute dreamer because I know you did not grow up in the United States. How did you dream from thousands and thousands of miles away in our homeland that one day you're gonna go plant your seed at a place where dreamers from all around the world come to plant their seeds?
Wow, beautiful question. So as I reflect my journey, I like to mentor a lot of young people, and I share my journey, how I came to where I am right now, just to help them. I think it was a combination of, yes, I was passionate and ambition, and as also luck. I call it. Some people call it luck. I can actually call it the grace of God. God will
Yes.
open the right door. So
Yes.
in terms of my passion and ambition, I grew up. I was born and raised in Cameroon, in Central Africa, in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon. As
Yes.
a young kid, I was always passionate about science and technology. I remember
Wow.
being 5, 6 years old, being the person in our house asking all the why this is black, why this is not red, why can we not do this,
Yes.
why. So if you have a kid who asks why, I mean, this is the beginning of just the scientific mindset, the critical thinking. And
Yes.
sometime in our culture, again, I'm talking about growing up in Africa, it's not well appreciated. Sometimes they say,
Yes.
you need to keep quiet. You are just a kid. You are just,
Yes.
why are you asking me? This is just,
Yeah.
it's just what it is. It's the way it's supposed to be. But I've learned that this is actually pretty good. Curiosity is a great a superpower. Asking the why.
Mm,
Don't take anything
yes.
for granted. So I was that type of kid. I was good
Mm,
in science. starting very young in mathematics. I was always the best in my class. In physics, all the science topic. I remember when things were broken in our household, like radio. We had the old-fashioned radio. We had the
Yep.
old-fashioned TV, not all the new tech. I was the one telling my mom, I'm going to go fix it. Right?
Wow.
7 years old, 8-year-old kid who thought about it, right? It was not perfect, but I was always wanted to try first, right?
Yes.
I don't even know the answer, but let me figure out, right?
Wow.
Just looking at it and trying to figure out. So yeah, you can look at your kid and maybe your neighbor's kids, maybe your cousin, maybe your nephew. You can start picking up some of this curiosity. You want to solve problem. You are, you are very always trying to break the boundary as a child, right? That you don't accept the status quo. You want to go further. That was the type of kid that I was.
Wow.
So in my school, going to middle school, high school, I was always the one doing all the mathematics competition. I don't know if it still exists in Cameroon, but where there was a little extra curriculum, they was not part of the program, but there was competition where you can compete with people from around the country about algebra, about calculus, very young. And I was passionate about that. I asked my mom to register me, and I usually came on top, like the top 2 or 3 or 4 people on the list. And
look at that.
Yeah, so at that time, I mean, it was not a big deal for me, or I didn't even think it as, because I was just loving science. I love it, and I was passionate about that. So I had the opportunity in Cameroon to be part of a school that was founded by the Canadian, the Lycée Technique de Colbison.
Yes, I've heard about Lycée Technique de Colbison,
Yeah, technical school by the Canadian. I think I did 3 of this Lycée Technique in Cameroon, one in Yaoundé, one in Bafoussam, and I believe one in Douala.
Okay.
So in Yaoundé, I was accepted. You had to go through an entrance examination, a very tough one, and I was accepted. And I think I was actually top in that.
Wow.
And it was basically mathematics, again, science topic, math, physics, chemistry. These were the 3 topics, and I did very well. And so from my high school in Cameroon, for those who are not from Cameroon, from other part of the world, Cameroon, you actually get to pick a major in high school. Right? It's in the US, you pick it in college. In high school, you're doing a little bit of general thing. In high school, I actually pick mathematics and technology. It was like for the French speaker, série E. So I specialized in math. My math was the top in my. I had like if you look at the number of units, up maybe 20 units. Math was at 10 units.
I see.
Different type of math. So in high school. And then physics, I really focused in Lycée Technique in mathematics and technology.
Yes.
So, finishing my baccalaureate in Cameroon, we get the baccalaureate, which is your final exam to be able to get to college.
Yes.
I was dreaming. I was really dreaming, God, I would love to continue my study in America.
Wow.
Why? Because first, the language, I think I wanted to continue in English. English is one of the most international language out there. And also, you think about maybe that's one of the best place for me to continue to grow and continue to learn. But I had no idea how am I going to get there. My mom didn't have the money. We were not coming from a family that I can say she can pay, the tuition in a college in America. I had no connection. I didn't have any family member. Many people, you have a cousin who came or a brother or a sister, right? Who can help you or sponsor you. I didn't have that. So as a young kid, 18 years old, how are you going to get that dream? And one thing that I really cherish, and I'm very strong about that, I'm a believer in Christ. I'm a believer in God. I trust God in everything I do. It started in my young age. It didn't start right now. And I was praying and I said, God, if you want me to go to America, you will have to open the door. So what happened? One family friend came to Cameroon, and he came to visit us. He talked to my mom, and he knew me. He said, he told my mom, Marie-Ange, your daughter is really smart. I can excel in America. And I never talked to him about that.
No kidding.
He's the one who brought the idea to my mom.
Yeah.
Also, you see a parent in Cameroon, how are you going to get the money?
Unbelievable.
What are you talking about? He just said, trust me, give me her transcript, give me all her paper, her document. When I go back, he was just there on vacation. When I go back, I will try to apply in different university and we'll see what happened after that.
Yes.
So when he came to the US, he applied for me. I got accepted easily.
Wow.
So now it became really real, right? That she hasn't accepted. What do you do when you get the money? Again, I will give it to the grace of God. Yes, to the grace of God.
Incredible.
God door. I
Yes.
got easily my visa, my F1 visa to come. At that time, it was a student visa. I came as a student I was 19 at the time and
Yes.
came to the US. My
Wow.
first year, it was in Virginia. I did my undergrad in Virginia, Virginia Union University.
Yes.
Financially, it was really tough. Financially,
Okay.
my mom, I bless, God bless her heart.
Mm.
She sold, she did everything
Everything.
for me to be
Yes.
able to pay one semester. It was like
Wow.
her life saving.
Yes.
Go to America. I know
Unbelievable.
you want to go deeper in your studies and you want to go further. I
Yes.
bless you. I will do my best to do with
Yes.
whatever I have to let you
Yes.
succeed. And when I saw the sacrifice of that woman, my mom was single mom. We didn't grow up
Yes.
with our dad. I
Mm.
was like, God, I got to succeed.
Unbelievable.
I cannot waste this money. So
Whew.
after the first year in America, the money that she saved, she said it was like 15,000. You guys know if you're
Yeah.
if you have kids in college,
In
you know the cost.
CFA, that's almost unbelievable. It blows my mind. Your
It was
mom must have
gone.
been very hardworking.
The money was gone
Yes.
first
Oh my
semester. So I
God.
was actually pretty freaking out. Are they going to kick me out? I don't have
Yes.
money to pay anymore.
No
So I was
kidding.
able to get a job outside of school. I was working on fast food to be able to
Yes.
survive and
Yes.
tutoring. But even
Yes.
with that, it was not enough to
Not
be able to
enough.
pay. And I really
Yes.
want to share the struggle, right?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
people understand that where you see somebody, sometime you think that it has been easy. It was not easy.
No,
It
I
was a
can
lot of,
only understand. I
trust
can
in God,
only.
working
Wow.
hard, and
Yes.
not giving up. Not giving up. I learned a
Yes.
lot about not giving up. So
Wow.
through that season, I was working in fast food in the evening, doing my homework when I come
Mm-hmm.
back, going to school, helping with tutoring.
Mm-hmm.
And again, by the grace of God,
Yeah.
I'm good in science. I was able to get a 4.0 GPA for my first year, my all first year.
That's
Through that,
insane.
I got a scholarship. That's
That's
how I got a
insane.
scholarship.
Oh my God.
It was pretty cool.
That is worth me catching my vuvuzela and giving a big blast, because getting a 4.0 is no easy feat for anybody who has ever sat in college. And you were doing that part time, or
Yes.
you're going full time to school and still working outside. But
Yes.
I want to just summarize what I'm hearing here. First,
Yes.
it was your sheer sense of curiosity to learn. And
Yes.
that curiosity plus good faith from God,
Mhm.
and then plus the work ethic equal amazing success.
You
It,
got
it could not have been it could not have been just curiosity, but the
You got it.
curiosity was empowered by God's grace.
You
But
got it.
also there was a strong element of commitment to work, because if you had worked at night at the fast food and you forgot to do your assignment, you're not going to get a 4.0. Do you
You
agree with
got it.
me?
You
You're not
got
going to
it.
get a 4.0,
You
because
got
from
it.
there, then the rest is history, as I said. But you still have to keep working.
You got it.
So I
You got
feel
it.
very inspired hearing this, because I know there's someone out there in our homeland, our country,
Mhm.
or in Asia, where I spend a lot of time in Singapore, Malaysia, who is watching this, who is listening to this and wondering, can I make it?
Make it.
Can
Yeah.
I make it? And you're just giving us the formula:
Mhm.
curiosity plus faith plus hard work. If you're looking for the formula, you just got it from Dr. Eyoum Tagne, because she has lived it and she has seen this.
And that's
So
why I like to share the struggle, because
thank
people,
you.
I know there are people going through that today,
Yes.
right? I know that I'm speaking to somebody that am I
Yes.
going to ever make it? And that was my question at the time.
Yes.
But I had to
Wow.
stay on top of, continue to be curious,
Yes.
continue to work
Work
hard,
hard.
never give up, and
Yes.
trust God that He's
Yes.
going to open the door as you do
Wow.
your part. You do your part.
Yes.
You can only control certain way, right? And then let
God take
some
care of
people
the
call it
rest.
destiny, but I call it God. Let God do
Yes.
the rest. And I was able to get a full ride scholarship. That took me from all
Wow.
my undergrad, my 2 years. I finished my undergrad in two. I didn't even share the whole story.
No kidding.
I took, normally in college, I believe it was 16 units. I took
Yes.
24 units
Yes.
semester to be
Yeah.
able to reduce a 4 years undergrad
Oh,
because of the finance. I was
yes.
concerned that
Yeah.
how am I going to pay this?
I see.
The first semester, the provost of academic affairs was like, nobody has ever done that. You can't do that. You're going to fail.
Wow.
I
Wow.
just pray and I think, trust me, sir. If I
Yeah.
fail a class, next semester refuse. So the first semester
Okay.
I was able to get a 4.0 GPA. He said, oh, she can
Wow.
do it. The next semester when I asked, because you have to ask a special permission
Yeah.
to take,
Yeah.
he accepted. Then the next,
Yeah.
so I was able to take a 4 years program in two and
Program.
a half. And I finished
Wow.
as the valedictorian of my class undergrad. And that's how I got admitted to Berkeley for my PhD. And it was full.
Wow. Wow. So
That's
you
my
had to skip the masters. You didn't even have to do a master's because you did excellent accomplishment in your undergrad.
yes, I was able to go directly to a PhD program in one of the top
Yes.
schools in the world. That
Yes.
took me to
Of course.
California to
Of course.
eventually to the Bay Area. So that's my journey, my educational journey.
And God brought you so close to it, but first you had to give the work. You had to put in the work, and the GPA was high up there. And then he said, "You know what? I'm going to take you as close as possible to the place where you can break everything up. You can look at what's behind it, and you can fix it." Because I know from my research that you studied electrical engineering. Is that right? Tell us
Yes,
about how someone with a mind of an electrical engineer knows how to take things apart and how to put them back together.
yes. So great point. So that's the transition now to finishing undergrad and coming to California. How I came to California. So I came to California for my PhD at
Yes.
Berkeley. I'm
Yes.
very ambitious and an ambitious person. So when I finished my undergrad, I was young.
Yes.
I believe I was 21, 22. I was like, okay, there are
Wow.
two options here. I could go get a job. I did very well. I'm very comfortable with that. But
Mhm.
to my curiosity mindset, I'm saying I'm so young and there's so much more to learn. Right? So much more to learn. I want
Yes.
to go as far as I can go. Why do I
Yes.
want to just stop with a bachelor? And I'm
Wow.
talking probably maybe to a undergrad right now. And I mentor. I say, think about the sky is the limit. Don't
Yes.
limit yourself. Don't limit your potential. You can go
Yes.
as far as you can. And
Hmm.
especially for me, for us minority, right? I'm a
Mhm.
double minority Black woman. It
Yes.
makes a difference to
Yep.
actually show your credential at one level higher. The ceiling
Yes.
is a little bit higher for you. So a
Okay.
bachelor today is not the same as it was before. So I
Yes.
really, when I mentor people, I think they have different situations. Sometimes you have to get a job, but if you
Yes.
can, go for a
Yes.
master, go for a PhD, and don't
Wow.
limit yourself to just depending on how you feel about academic. I love academic, right? I chose the top school.
Yes.
I could have just chose the average school or I really
Yes.
want to sit with the top of the top in my field so that I can
Yes.
learn. I can
Yep.
learn from them, from the best professor, from the
Yep.
best
Yep.
teacher in the world, from the Nobel Prize winner, from all the other
Yep.
schools all over the world. So when I applied to MIT, Stanford,
Yep.
and Berkeley. Berkeley gave
Mm.
me a full ride, and that's how I find myself in Berkeley for my PhD.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think that was a blessing too, because you could say, okay, you could say MIT, but it's much further away from the place where most of the ideas that change the world are being uh, uh, transfused, combined, and taken into different directions to serve the whole world. With all credit, MIT is important, but I think if you ask me, Berkeley is even better because you're so close to Silicon Valley and you studied there. And I would think that you progress from there to join the tech world.
Yes.
And joining the tech world as a leader, yes, academically, you're super sound, but tell me about joining the tech world as a lady uh, and making your presence felt to the point whereby you didn't just end there, but you started to work your way up to leadership positions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for the question. Thank you. That's a question to reflect.
Mhm.
As I finish my PhD, I don't think I actually had very big dream that I want to go higher to the highest
Mm,
point of like leadership. I don't think so, right? I love
I see.
technology. I love science. I
Mhm.
want to continue to just grow as a
Yeah.
human being, grow
Okay.
in my tech career, continue to
Yes.
innovate, continue to
Yes.
create. I don't think
Yes.
at that age, I was 25, 26, 27, I believe. Yeah, it
I
was, the
see.
goal was not, I want to become a VP or director. I think
Okay.
it's, so Berkeley, that's one of the, I think, benefit of going to a good graduate program, because there's a lot of connection with
Yes.
companies. You have more opportunity for internship in maybe a company that you are dreaming to work for. So
Yes.
during my PhD career, I did different internship, one at Intel, one at
Yes.
IBM in New
Mhm.
York in Watson.
Mhm.
Great. I met some great mentor in both of the company. So eventually,
Mm.
when I finished Berkeley, I had a offer from Intel without even, I was not even done with my PhD yet. They already gave me an offer. So it was a no-brainer. I love what I did at Intel.
Okay.
Joined
Okay.
Intel.
Did
And
you have to move to Oregon? I'm not
oh no, I
interrupting.
was still in Silicon Valley when I
Okay.
did my internship. It was in Santa Clara. That's the headquarters of Intel. And when I
Okay.
finished my PhD, the role that they offered me was in Santa Clara. So I
Santa
didn't have
Clara.
to go. So yeah,
Okay.
I did travel a lot to Oregon to,
Yeah.
because that's where the fab, right? The
Yes.
engineering team and many of the
Yes.
folks were, but the headquarter is actually Santa Clara.
I
So
see.
my first few years, when you're a young professional, you just started, you just want to learn.
Yes.
I'm curious. Learn
Yeah.
the grill of the work.
Yes.
Be good. Become the expert in something. Right.
Yes.
Get the
Yes.
credibility. People to trust you when there's a problem. You can solve the problem. I
Yep.
think my first, I want to say 3, 4, 5 years at Intel. That was it. That was just
Mm.
learning, growing,
Learning.
getting
Okay.
established in the field.
In the
I
field.
actually did a slight career change. I, I was an engineer by training,
Mhm.
researcher. I moved to
Mhm.
product
I
management.
see. I
So
see.
product was
Mm.
a little bit more strategy. You get to
Yeah.
look at the big picture. You understand the
Yes.
technical how to get done the stuff in the lab, but you don't do it, right? You
Yep. Yep.
engineering team who will do that. But now
Yep.
you drive the big picture. You
Yep.
drive the strategy. You
Hmm.
bring the team together to align on the
Yes.
roadmap on where we should be going. You make
Yep.
recommendation to the CEO of what
Hmm.
direction we should be going in terms of product, right? And
Very
the
interesting.
reason that you did. So one of my key product at Intel was the netbook. I work on netbook. Netbook
I
was
see.
the small computing device before Apple launched the first tablet, small
Yes.
7-inch
Okay.
factor, and that was a
Yep.
great innovation. Great innovation. I love that.
Wow.
I spent a
Wow.
lot of time in the just working on the strategy, marketing, product marketing, program management of
Hmm.
netbook.
Hmm.
That was kind of my introduction to product management. So I moved from engineering to product
So
management.
product
Right now,
management. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. And
I'm a
I
product
see.
manager. Yeah.
I see that you've been in product launches for quite a while. You actually prefer to take something from an idea
Yeah.
into reality and then put it out into the market space.
Yes. Yes.
What is it about product? What is it about launches that you like so much?
Wonderful question. Wonderful question. I get to talk a lot about that also to the mentees. I have mentees that I talk to. So when I finish my PhD, I think there are usually 2 track where
Yeah.
folks, right, you just want to stay in your research, you're an expert on something, you want to continue deeper on that. So for that
Yes.
track, you can go into research. Sorry, I will take a pause. Can I take a pause? I have something from my key.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, can I take a pause here?
That's okay.
Yeah. Hello? Yes. I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a meeting, please. Can I call you back? I thought it was an emergency. Okay, thank you. Bye.
And I really appreciate this because I don't want our conversations to look like they are uh, stereotypical. It should be we're humans. If there's
Okay. It's an
something that's an
interruption.
emergency that
Yeah.
comes up, we
Yeah.
attend to it. So I'm totally comfortable with that.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
shows that we are grounded in what is right. So I
I see.
appreciate that. But you were talking about the transition
Yeah.
to product
Like,
launches, and I
yeah.
and I like the fact that you talking about moving from engineering.
To
And
product.
so product launches would mean you have to deal with many different strands. You're dealing with marketers, you're dealing with a community, you're dealing with so many people. Tell us about making that transition or moving that hat of an engineer who is maybe cut off from the world to the heart of somebody who is not only out there but also looking at what would the customer say, what would the regulator say, what would the government say, how would this be received, the timing, the pressures, and all of that. Tell us something about that.
Wonderful, wonderful question. So I want to start with that journey for me. What was that journey, right? Because when you finish your
Yes.
PhD, you're an expert in something. You've discovered to get a PhD, you have to discover something that nobody
Yes.
knows in the world. That's what it's a
Yes.
dissertation.
Yes.
Dissertation,
Yeah.
something new, something unique. So
Yes.
when I finished that PhD, there are different 2 track that I've seen people, and that's the most common track. Either you become a faculty member, a professor
Yeah.
in a university, or you go to a research, either a
Yes.
research in a university or a research in industry. So this is
Mhm.
a common path, and that was what in mind. I was always thinking either I'm going to become a faculty member or a researcher. But what
Mm.
I learned about myself, that's why you have to get, and it takes time sometimes to learn about it yourself, is that I was passionate about the technical thing, but
Mhm.
I realized that the application of my PhD was
Mhm.
not something that was possible today, right?
I
I work
see.
on silicon germaniums for
Yeah.
micromechanical application. Silicon germanium is very expensive, very
Okay.
expensive. It's
Mm.
not something that you can see easily in the
Mhm.
market. Like like polycrystalline silicon. So when I was
Yeah.
talking about my PhD to my parent, to my friend, they were like, "What are you talking about? How are we going to apply this?
What is that?
What is that?" I was
Yeah.
speaking like a different language. Let me
Yeah.
see. I mean,
Sounded like you're speaking Russian to somebody who
yeah,
doesn't understand Russian, right?
yes, correct. So it started, my journey started there. I want to be
Okay.
able to communicate with the day to day. I
Ordinary
want to
people.
communicate with my
Okay.
mom. What,
Like that.
how do I make sure that what I'm working, I'm actually addressing
Yes.
problem that my neighbor, my
Yes.
friend, that Dr. Gideon has,
Yeah.
somebody that I know has, that I can have
Yes.
communication.
Fantastic.
And that's
Yes.
product management. That's the
Okay.
definition of product management. Because you think
Okay.
about the customer. Who are
Yes.
the customer? As a researcher, you don't think about customer. You think about the technical challenge. How am I
Yes.
going to solve the problem, right? Even though
Yes.
it can take so many years to get into market
Yes.
for people to
Yes.
use it. That's not your problem.
Yeah.
The product manager will figure it out. So
Yep.
now, as a product manager, as a strategist, you have to think about, actually, do people care about what I'm working on? Who are the
Exactly.
people who care about that? How do we
Exactly.
make sure, what are the number, the KPI, that we are
Mhm.
making a difference in the world?
Mm.
Have I talked to customer? We talk about
Yes.
customer.
How do they
What is the
feel about it?
Yes, customer obsession. Amazon call it customer obsession, customer empathy.
Yeah.
What is the regulation about that? You think about
Mm.
regulator, right?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
think about marketing. How are we going to
Mhm.
go to market? You were talking about the go to market, right? How do I take
Mhm.
launch those products? Well, it's a
Yes.
big thing in product management. You
Yep.
think about execution.
Yep.
Do we have the technology? Do we have the technology in heart in the company to
To be
execute?
able to
We have
implement it.
a third party. Do we have to do a contractual agreement with the third party? So I've done both, where we
I
had the
see.
technology, where we had to
Okay.
contract with somebody else, right? How do we
Mm.
design in software?
Yes.
Is the design to make it
Yes.
easier to understand? I was just before your meeting. I was in
Yes.
another meeting where I was reviewing the design of a specific
Okay.
product of a colleague to see if
Mm.
people actually can understand what is that
Yes.
design. How do we make it easier? So I work with designer who are
Yes.
specialists in that. What is the
Okay.
research behind that? I work with
Okay.
people research who go to homes and they do the
Mm.
research to interview people. So
There you
it's
go.
product management is just an umbrella of
Of
different
almost,
using your brain,
yes,
different ways.
so many different areas.
Yes,
So in a way, you're an integrator. Yes, you're an engineer, but you
yes,
also like to integrate different systems and help them to talk to one another and help people who are benefiting from it to feel and be part of it and maybe want to promote it, talk about it to others. So that's what I'm hearing. And I find that to be fascinating because sometimes people have this impression that engineers are people that just want to be cut off from the world. They're just working on their coding and the software. And so if somebody's listening to you out there who is still working through an undergraduate degree, are you saying that they should focus more on software, on hardware, or even much more than just software and hardware?
I will answer the question a different way, right?
Please.
When I talk to my mentees, I
Mhm.
first ask the person, "Do you know what you are passionate about?"
Mm.
Because if you are passionate about something, you'll be willing to put
Time.
the hard work,
Yes.
the extra miles to be
Yes.
able to deliver on that.
Yes.
Very important to find your passion. Very
Yes.
important. Sometimes it takes time. I
Yes.
started on hardware. My journey started on hardware and
Yes.
eventually moved to software. So
Yes.
passion is very important. The
Okay.
second thing that I want to talk about, when I was finishing my undergrad to get on my PhD,
Mhm.
coding was the name of the game. It was basically C++, learning how to
Mhm.
code, software engineer.
Mhm.
Google was just starting. It was
Mhm.
basically programming. But
Yeah.
things are moving so fast in technology. Things
Yes.
are moving. I mean, in my lifetime, I
Mhm.
can say I've seen different generation of Web 1, 0.1, 1.0, 2.0, right? We first had
Mhm.
just internet. Then we
Mhm.
had, PC. Everybody had a PC on their table. Then
Mhm.
eventually came mobile. Everybody had mobile. Eventually
Mhm.
now everything is in the cloud, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Things are moving, and now we are talking
So
about AI.
fast.
So
Yes.
I am really challenging the young people. Be aware of the trend and what
Yes.
is happening right now in
Mm.
your journey, and think about even the future. Today, what
Yes.
is happening is AI, artificial intelligence. That's
Yes.
the
Oh
name of
my
the
God.
game.
It's blowing up everywhere.
Yes. So how do you make sure you can speak that language?
Yeah.
How do you make sure you understand what are the
Yes.
challenges, what are the
Thank you.
opportunities,
Thank
right?
you.
To be able to
Yes.
be marketable, right, in the
Yes.
future, to
Thank
keep
you.
your job and to be the best in your job.
Thank you.
So be aware, be a constant learner that you continue
Yes.
to educate yourself on what is going on. Today is AI, tomorrow is something.
You don't
Climate change
know.
is not a big problem. Climate change
Yep.
is something that I'm actually getting more and more and more passionate
Yep.
because we have, no matter where you live in the world right now, either
It's
it's too
gonna
hot,
come.
cold,
Yep.
or snow is all crazy, or it's,
Yep.
you have fire in California. I mean, it's
Yep.
just
Yep.
in your face now.
It's everywhere.
With
It's
your brain, as a technical person, even as a non-technical person, how can we address climate change? Right. So
thank
my
you.
point here, passion is very important. And the
Yes.
second thing, keep learning and keep being updated up
Thank
on
you.
the top of what is
Absolutely.
happening.
I
And that's how
just
you, if you merge both of that, you will find the
I
bingo.
I
That's the place.
just I just so much admire what you're saying. That yes, whatever you want to do, take a big breath, take a deep breath, and say, "What's my passion?" Because when I finish my doctorate, I do not want to go into academia
Mhm,
specifically.
mhm,
I did not want to go into research, but I
mhm,
felt, what's my passion? My passion is in telling stories, is in connecting the dots. Because when you connect the dots, people make sense of the world and they learn.
mhm.
So I am developing this slowly and surely. And talking about AI, just before we started our meeting, I was signing up on a program that I'm going to go learn from someone who has
That's right.
mastered how we can use AI in public speaking, in designing and delivering or disseminating programs like this. So I'm thinking, okay, you're a guru. I think I'm checking off one little box. My curiosity hat is still on, and I have to learn that because I
That's
want to
wonderful.
keep being relevant, not only
Yep.
to our community of
Yep.
African immigrants, but to the world at large. So
Yep.
I really appreciate you mentioning that. So let's talk about challenges because most boardrooms in America, most C suites in America is usually male dominated.
Mhm.
And you coming from outside, how did you find your voice? What gave you the confidence to find your voice to go into a male dominated world? Perhaps it's predominantly white, perhaps it's predominantly Asian, and still put your footprints and your fingerprints in the wall and be recognized as someone from a different background, but who has brought in a special gift into this world in which we live in America.
Something that I've learned is that imposter syndrome is real.
Mm.
I have imposter syndrome many times that I don't belong. And when I
Yes.
talk to my colleague,
Yes.
many of them are different than me. They might be from the dominant race, from the
Mhm.
dominant
Mhm.
gender.
Mhm.
They have imposter syndrome. It's what you do with that.
Mm.
The bottom line is what you do
Do
with
with
that,
it. I see.
right?
Yes.
Many times I feel like I'm not qualified. I'm not supposed to be in this room.
Mm.
Really, even
Mhm.
after all this accomplishment, even after
Yes.
all what I've done, I still feel like I'm
Wow.
not good enough. But
Wow.
I'm learning and I've learned to manage
Yes.
my exposure to. If I'm in
I
this
see.
boardroom, I deserve to be there. I speak to myself. I
Yes.
deserve to be there as much as the
Yes.
other person next to me, right? I
Yes.
bring my
Yes.
expertise. I might not know everything. Of course, I don't know everything. I
Yes.
stay in my lane. This is what I know, and this is why I'm in this board. And let's
Yes.
bring a contribution based on my
Wow.
expertise, right?
Hmm.
Don't be scared to speak up. I've
Yes.
learned. I've learned.
Yes. Yes.
You can. There's different way to do that. I think I've take something. You can ask a question.
Mm.
You
Mhm.
can bring your perspective. People want to hear from people who are different.
I
Believe me,
see.
you don't even realize that because you bring
Yes.
a different perspective, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Bring your voice to the table. And the
Yes.
more you do that, the more you feel more and more confident, right? So
Okay.
these are some of the tips that I want to give to people. But imposter syndrome is real. It doesn't go away.
Yes.
It's
It
never.
doesn't
I
go.
talk to CEO, they have imposter syndrome. When they start the presentation, do I really have it all figured out?
Yes.
This
Yes.
question come, I don't have the answer, right? What
Yes.
if, what if? But it's what
Wow.
you do with that. And then
Okay.
speak up based, you are there. If you are somewhere that
Hmm.
in a boardroom, in a meeting, or in a
Yes.
company, you have an expertise, you have something to
Yes.
bring to the table. Be
Yep.
confident about that and bring that
Mm.
expertise, bring your A game, right?
Yes.
You work hard to be there. So bring
Yes.
that expertise to the table. So these are
Mm.
the two tips that I really want to bring, yeah,
Wow.
about this topic of how do I manage that? How do I
That
feel it?
that is very relevant because every single place I've been to, when I was living in South Africa, when I left Cameroon for the first time, I felt some imposter syndrome when I went to work in Singapore. I felt imposter syndrome coming
Can I
to
give
America.
you a few minutes? Just one
Yes,
second. My daughter
yes,
is
please.
asking something.
Yes.
You told me you don't want to go, right?
But I'm still asking.
Do you want to go?
Sure.
Do you want to go?
Do you want to sign me out?
I didn't sign you out, but I thought you don't want to go to do Girls on the Run.
Sure, but I still want to leave a little bit early to not be too late.
So can you go with Lulu mom? I'm not going to be. I have a meeting right now.
But who's
I think. Hold on. How long do we still have to go?
Just another 20 minutes, maximum 20.
Okay, I can drop you. Okay,
But who's gonna pick me up?
I will pick you up
At what time?
at like last time.
Pick me a little bit early.
Okay, so you have to wait for me then in the parking garage of Ian in element in kindergarten.
In the kindergarten.
So give me 20 minutes. We're going to talk about that.
And
Yeah.
at what time? Can you pick me up at least like?
Yes, when I drop you, we can talk
59?
about. Yes, yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, my
That's
kids.
cool. That's cool. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
She's, of course, she's also speaking up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she's also advocating for herself.
Yes, yes,
We all
yes.
have some imposter syndrome, but we need to speak up. So she's doing
Yeah,
exactly what you're
yeah.
advising us to do.
She
And
put a paper in my door. She didn't want to disturb. She wrote the question for me to
okay.
read the question. And I
Wow.
realized that I had
Wow.
to answer. That was an important question she was asking me.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. And I encourage, if there are younger adults or younger children watching this, you have to speak up. You have to advocate for yourself. Sometimes you may have to write and hold it. Sometimes you have to knock on the door, toque, sur la porte, just
Mhm,
and listen. Maybe somebody opens. So that's a powerful lesson. Now,
mhm,
I want to just check in here briefly with you. You have evolved from not just working, but also beginning to found or co-found companies.
mhm.
I want you to talk about Sidebar. I think Sidebar is something that you a co-founder, a co-founding member. Tell us about Sidebar. What's Sidebar all about?
Yeah, I'm so passionate about helping each other, growing, learning. So I'm
Mhm,
part of different community of leaders to continue
mhm.
to grow, continue to learn. So Sidebar is
Yes.
actually something much more recent in my career journey that I recently joined as a founding member, and they are
Mhm,
still growing the organization. So what is Sidebar? Sidebar is basically, think about it as product leader, as leader, tech leader, we
mhm.
want to have sounding board, right? Like board
Yes.
of director, that you are
Yes.
facing maybe a situation either at work,
Yeah.
uh, mostly at work, but sometimes even family, right? Because now with the remote culture, your
Yep.
family life, you saw my daughter coming, is kind of
Yep.
melting with your work life. So
Yes.
it's basically your board of director. That's it,
Okay.
to
Yes.
really be able to get real feedback
Mhm.
and and be real about what is happening. So
Okay.
what the founder of Sidebar, Lexley, he talks about that in some of his presentation, is that we've seen that many of the leaders, when you grow into leadership, you become so isolated, like
Yes.
CEO, as a CFO, as a VP,
Mhm,
right? You have
mhm.
very few people that are in your
They can
circle.
give you honest feedback.
Honest feedback, ask
Yes.
questions. And
Yes.
you have coach is
Yeah.
usually one perspective.
Yes.
I have some executive coach who have helped me in my
Yes.
communication style, in my
Yes.
leadership style. It's one
Yes.
perspective, but think
Yes.
about it as a community of those
Mm.
trusted advisor who are
Yes.
maybe
Okay.
diverse opinion, who have
Yep.
reached also different
Mm.
level in their career and can
Yes.
bring some different perspective that you
Okay.
might not have. That Sidebar. That's what I love
Okay.
about that. That you have this community of different people from different industry. They are
Yes.
also technology. They are not all
Yeah.
they are not actually all tech. Some people are from finance, some people are from
Yes.
different industry, but they have a good perspective because you
Yes.
can learn from somebody from a different industry, right? About something that
Absolutely.
you can apply in your industry. And it's a facilitator. There is a facilitator that is actually
Mm.
coaching those conversations.
I
And
see.
with every other week, you get to, you
Yes.
call it the hot seat. You are in the hot seat and you pose a problem that you are facing, either in your
Yes.
company, in your journey, in your career. It could be how to talk to your manager about a problem. It could be
Yes.
something that you are facing with your customer, and people can
Wow.
ask questions to help
Wow. Hmm.
unlock
Yes.
the response.
Unlock the doors.
That's
So
what
who can be a member of Sidebar? Is it open to public, or this is something very exclusive?
you can actually apply, but because of the it's a vetted community because we
I
want it to
see.
be really relevant. So
Yes.
there's a certain in terms of the vetting, in terms of number of
Yes.
experience for the
Yeah.
professional that you need to have, right? I think
Yes.
at this level,
Yes.
from what I've seen, it was maybe 10 plus years
Yeah.
of experience because we are bringing the same
Yep.
people, the same
Similar.
similar people in a
Yes.
community.
Okay.
Other community that I'm part
Mm-hmm.
of where you can have junior engineer, people who have been less, where you
Mm-hmm.
still get the same kind of mentorship and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
for sidebar, it's a process that somebody can apply, but it's vetted. They're going to ask you some question about your background,
Okay.
your what is your objective to get into sidebar? What are you
Yes.
bringing to the table? Because it's a give and get. You have
Fair
to bring
enough.
something and get something from the other community member, and
Yes.
eventually, based on all those numbers, I think there's an algorithm. You go through interview process. They accept
Wow.
you, or they reject you. So that's sidebar.
Wow.
But there are other
Wow.
community. I don't want to make it like it sounds like you say,
Oh,
special or whatever. But there are
okay.
other community for a younger engineer, like if you need mentorship, and I'm doing
Yes.
that a lot. I'm doing that a lot. If you need
Yes.
advice, coaching, there are other
Yep.
communities that people can be part of.
Okay. Now, I know we're running a little tight on time, but I want to acknowledge the fact that you do a lot of work, mentorship, outreach in STEM. But there's one area that piqued my interest. You're passionate about faith, and you don't hide your faith from who you are. You've been part of faith in tech. Tell us about faith in tech, and then we can sum up our conversation.
Yeah, definitely. Big passion of mine is my faith. I think my faith is a key integration of who I am as a human being.
Mhm.
Where I am right now, I give 100%
Mhm.
credit to the
Mhm.
God of the universe, to my
Mhm.
God, to
Yes.
Jesus, who
Yeah.
has taken me where I am. So I don't claim to have all the answer. I am still
Mhm.
in that journey of learning more about God, and
Mhm.
I'm really sharing that
Mhm.
God is real and He's
Yeah.
faithful. So my
Yes.
passion in faith and tech is basically how do we use technology
Okay.
in how do we the best way to think about that is many of us we've compartmentalized our life
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
if you're maybe a Christian, Sunday is
Mhm.
God day where you go to church
Yeah.
and you do the God stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're Jewish, maybe it's on Saturday. If you're a
Mhm.
Muslim, it's on Friday.
Mhm.
And work is just the other day of the week. So
Mhm.
you put two different buckets in
Hats.
your mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we are trying to communicate through many of the FedTech integration, the FedTech work have been, it shouldn't be that dichotomy, right?
Mm.
It shouldn't be that
Mhm.
divided. That
Yes.
actually our faith,
Yeah.
because you're a person of faith, can
Yeah.
inform and should inform the way you
Yeah.
do work. How do
Yes.
you love your neighbor? That's something that Jesus is teaching, and I think many of the religion are teaching that. Love your
Yes.
neighbor. How do you
Yes.
integrity, the work
I
that is
see.
every day? How does it carry out, right, with your
Yes.
faith? Same
I
thing.
see.
Your faith, how do we use some of the technology, some of the stuff AI? I do that a lot
Mhm.
now because I'm also an elder in my church, to be able
Mm.
to bring about some of the new translation of the Bible. It's using AI right now. I don't know if you knew
Mm.
that, right?
No, I
Um,
did not even know that.
there's a lot of community right now where we use
Mm.
some of the technology. I am part of hackathon where
Yeah.
entrepreneurs put
Yeah.
together some entrepreneurship ideas of how
Mhm.
we can use technology in the world of faith. So there were
Yes.
technology about prayer. That something happened
Mm.
in China today, and people they develop an app where
Yes.
put a pin on the
Yes.
app and people are praying. People, you get a
I see.
notification and everybody
Wow.
starts praying. That's an example using
Wow.
technology, using
Yes.
mobile app to be
To
able to
mobilize.
help people to
Mm.
communicate to people about prayer, about something that is
Yes.
just happening, and you're asking for prayer. So these are some
Wow.
examples that we can
Yes.
definitely take some of the technology that we are building and apply in
Yes.
the world of faith. And the
I
same thing,
see.
our faith should inform how we do work, how
Yep.
we, how our colleague, our
Mhm.
boss, our stakeholder view
Mhm.
us, right? You don't even
Yeah.
have to, and I love that with Jesus. It's not about what you say, it's about how you
Yes.
live. Are you
Yes.
loving your people? Are you loving people that you work with? What does it
Yes.
look like to love them? Are you
Yes.
compromising? Are you a person of integrity? So
Yes.
many of the initiative of faith that I'm part of, we discuss about that.
Mm.
We make it clear that this is what we want to be about, and
Mhm.
find out what are some of the practical
Mhm.
strategy, roadmap, step.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's training, sometimes
Mhm.
it's um advocacy, sometimes it's building some product, right? It
Mm-hmm.
depends on which angle. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very bullish about it and very passionate about it.
Very interesting. Okay, I know we're running late on time, so I'm gonna just enter this last piece, which is about a minute or two. I call it the rapid fire questions, which
Yeah.
is just short question, short answer. And the part of this is just to humanize you. It's not to set you up to answer or give any wrong answer, but just let us just get to know Dr. Eyoum a little bit more.
Mhm.
So you've lived on East Coast and on the West Coast. So do you prefer East Coast or West Coast or
Definitely West
Silicon Valley?
Coast.
West
Definitely
Coast
West Coast, yeah.
because of the weather, right?
The weather, Silicon Valley. If you've been in Silicon Valley, it's so diverse in terms of the people, right? So people
Ideas.
coming from all over the world, ideas, even
Okay.
the environment, you have mountains. I don't live far
Mhm.
from that, so I love to hike. I
Yes.
go this morning, for instance, I went hiking 8 miles
Yes.
round trip, 4,000
Amazing.
elevation in my
Amazing.
backyard. You have the beach.
Amazing.
30, I'm 20 minutes from the beach.
Yes.
There's one the snow. My kids and my husband
Wow.
ski. So we are 2 hour, 3 hour from Tao. So that
Yes.
diversity of environmental, what do you
Fantastic.
like? If you like hiking, if you like, beach,
Fantastic.
if you like snow, it's
Okay.
right there. It's in your
It's
backyard.
all it's all within a stone throw. Okay. We got that one out of the way. You've done hardware, you've done software. Which do you think has a better future for emerging emerging entrepreneur, not entrepreneurs, students, people who are coming through the trade, software or hardware? Which one has a
I would
better
definitely
future?
say software. I would definitely say software. Why software? I think the hardware is a lot of investment, right? To be
Yeah.
able to design and build a PC, you name it,
Hmm.
a Google Home device,
Hmm.
Alexa device,
Yeah.
like a device, a hardware device. You need investment, you need money. And
Yes.
for a new entrepreneur, being a college student, right?
Wow.
You have to
Yes.
find the right company. There are not many companies in the world who are doing that. But
No
software is
kidding.
so rapid, it's so agile, right? If
Yes.
you are good, yeah, critical thinking,
Yeah.
curiosity. Today you
Yes.
don't even have to build software. In the past, I told you when I finished school, people had
Yeah.
to learn about C++ and now
Yeah.
there's AI and all that. But how do you continue to
Mhm.
improve and take it to the next level? Right,
Fantastic.
software is that place where you can do it quickly.
Yes.
It's a quick
Turn
turnaround.
around. Turn around. Yes.
To do something and see it on the market, do something and see it on the market and improve on
Thank
that.
you.
Right? So yeah.
Thank you. No one has ever given me that perspective. And most people, even they will not even answer that question. So I'm very grateful that you answered that question. So you've lived in Africa, you've lived in America, and I think you've visited Europe a lot. So which one is better for family, for raising the family? Africa, Europe, or America?
Wow, that's a good one.
And you have to think twice another one. That's really
That's
interesting.
a
I could not.
good one. That's a good one. I didn't raise a family in Africa.
Yeah.
So I can just speak about my childhood and my experience when I was growing up. It was a
Mhm.
wonderful childhood experience. I think it was before all technology. We were playing outside.
Yes.
We could go to the neighbor
I
house.
went
We
I
were
went through that too. Yeah.
it was just
Different
beautiful,
world.
a different world,
Mhm.
as innocent kid and just
Mhm.
growing up with your neighbors.
Mhm.
So I really love that upbringing. We didn't have a lot of
Mhm.
opportunity, like you might
Yes.
know. We didn't have the latest. I mean, if you really wanted to go, I don't even think if I had a library,
Yeah.
bookstore to read and be exposed to learn about a lot of the
Yep.
culture, a lot of what is
Yep.
happening in the world. So maybe that's
Mhm.
the downside. The way I'm gonna answer the question is give the pro and the con. Maybe
Yeah.
Europe, my sister go a lot to Europe. I
Yeah.
think in terms of family value, I see a lot of good family value from the perspective of it's many of the without going to politics. I'm not going to get into
Yeah.
politics. It's more
Yeah.
more
Social
social,
life.
more community.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So vacation,
Mm.
for instance, when I look at my sister, many of her friends, their
Yeah.
vacation package is like the whole summer sometime, right? They can
Yeah.
spend time with the kids.
Wow.
The cost of living is so much.
Yeah.
And California, I live in California, so much
Yeah.
cheaper to
Ooh.
go from one country to the other country. You can visit different places in Western Europe with,
Yeah.
with very limited
Yeah.
budget. It's the Western world in Europe is mainly like in the US. You have the same amenities, the same
Yeah. Yeah.
healthcare. Depending, you don't have to have a big job to have healthcare. You have
Yeah.
basic healthcare for your kid and for
Yeah. Yep.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's pretty much covered by the government. So
Mhm.
it's the way society was built to make it
Mhm.
easier for family. Yeah, in the
Yes.
US, what I see is that, especially where I live in California, is very expensive.
Super expensive.
Very expensive. Even
Competitive too. Hmm.
yeah, Competition is good.
Yeah.
It's true, and it's good or bad depending on what type of. I love competition. Some people don't
Yeah.
like it, but what I see that people are missing and maybe they like, because we are so busy, and I'm very
Yes.
aware of that as a parent. We don't spend
Yeah.
a lot of time with our kids. We give
Children. Yes.
technology, we give
Yes.
them, you can, they are in so many clubs, so many
Yeah.
activities outside. That's my problem right now. We are so many
Yeah.
kids are doing so many things,
Yeah.
and we are always running. I'm always
Yes.
running.
On the run. Yeah.
I'm aware of that as a
Yeah.
parent, and I'm
Yeah.
trying my best. Like you see, my daughter just interrupt me. Give her
Yeah.
attention. Try to be
Yes.
there for her game, even though I have so many meetings. How do I make sure that I put what I do in my calendar is that I put family time. I need to take on my kid to whatever basketball or
Amazing.
whatever they are doing, so that I show
Amazing.
up to their
Yes.
game. I'm
Yes.
very strict with technology. I'm very strict
Okay.
with technology. My
Yes.
daughter,
Even though you're a developer, you do all of that, but you have boundaries.
you have time, you have boundaries, that
Thank you.
during the weekend we can do TV time as a family. I know
Yeah.
what you're watching, because I don't know if there's good and bad, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
What kids have been exposed with technology, and I know it's happening
Absolutely.
even in Africa. From what I'm hearing, it's not only in
Yes.
America today, it's also in
Yes.
Africa and in Europe, that
Yes.
problem of
Indeed.
technology. But for me,
Yes.
it's finding that balance of
Yes.
how do I raise kids in
Yeah.
such a culture where, yeah, they are excellent. They have access to so many of the things that I didn't have access, and I want to give them access to that. I
Mm-hmm.
think my daughter reads
Mm.
so much. Our
Mm-hmm.
library is so good because she started writing book now. She started writing book because she's a good reader at
No
8 years
kidding.
old, right? So
Wow. Wow.
how do I keep them aware of those different cultures,
Engaged.
but at
Yeah.
the same time be engaged?
Yeah.
Don't just give them the stuff.
And
Be
walk
engaged.
away. Mm-hmm.
Continue to organize play date when I was
Mm.
or my mom didn't have to organize play date, right?
Yep.
We were
Yep.
just going to the neighbor house, so I have to organize
That was
good friend for my kids,
yeah.
right? So it's hard to pick. I mean, I
Yeah.
think you're looking at the pro and the con, and then as a parent, you do your best to
Yeah.
raise your kids with your
Okay.
values and with what you think is good their person, try
Okay.
to magnify their strength so that they can become
Okay.
the best human being God created them to be.
Okay. Now I hear you very much. And then the last one, I'm assuming that yes, we're far away from home, but you still eat African foods. And so I'm gonna say that four choices on the table. Which one would you go for? There's poisson braisé, there's
Mhm,
mongo chobi,
mhm.
there's water fufu, and there's achu. Which one would you go for?
Poisson braisé. If you put arrow, I thought you're going to put arrow there.
I
I
put
would
arrow. I
say,
say water fufu and arrow.
oh, what a fufu arrow. Oh, I love arrow. I love arrow. I love arrow. So
Oh,
it
so
goes
you'll be
between
torn.
poisson
You'll be
braisé.
going like,
I'll
should I
be,
get a
I'll
little
be
bit of
done.
poisson
I'll be
braisé or
done.
get a bit? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Doug. We really appreciate your time. But
Mhm,
more importantly, we appreciate what you're doing in the community, in the
mhm.
areas of faith, in the areas of STEM, in the areas of outreach, encouraging other young women, young people of all backgrounds to embrace technology and to embrace it in a way that can change our societies and our communities. So we're very grateful for you finding this time. I know you have to go, and so we want to thank you for your time. Have a blessed
Thank you
day.
so much. It was my pleasure to spend this time with you, and I just love to do things like that. So I hope what something that I've said have been a blessing and encouragement for a young person over there. Thank you for having me.
It's been a blessing for me, and I'm assuming that our audience, whether they're viewers, they're listeners, they would benefit from what you have already shared with us. Thank you so much. I will now end the interview,